After having watched these two documentaries, True Cost and Minimalism, I found that there was quite a striking similarity or quite a connection between these two, the subjects covered in these two documentaries and the movies that we saw. Well, it was a movie, The Big Short, and The Inside Job, which was another documentary. I found that I personally believe that they're actually quite related because the majority of these issues that have to do with the stock market, these bubbles being created, have to do with excessive consumer spending and people investing more than they have. And I feel like that's very related, first of all, to the subject in the minimalism. There's a subject that is touched on a lot, which mentions that people buy things that they don't necessarily need, that there's this natural need, this urge to buy and to aspire for greater things, when in reality we don't really need them. And I feel like the issues in Wall Street are very similar. People are investing and they're putting a lot of money, when in reality it's not completely necessary. This is actually how the first economic crisis, the one in 1920 something, it was you know the Great Depression happened because of this. There was this time called the Roaring Twenties when people the war had just ended. They were very happy. There was a big social change in the U.S. and people started spending and buying, and the economy started growing and growing and growing. The thing is that people were spending excessively, and that created a huge bubble in the market, which also then led to an economic downfall. And it's very similar also to what happened in 2008 with the market crash that you see in The Big Short. The thing is that instead of being with specific small little things like clothes and cars and that, it was with home mortgages. But it was still unnecessary spending on houses bigger than people needed. They were having maybe two houses and they had more space than, it was a family of three people and they had houses with 5 rooms. People just started spending and spending on houses, and that also created a big market bubble. So that I feel like is very related from that part. Also, the other one, which was True Cost, it also has to do a little bit. It's not as directly intertwined, but it's also a big issue. I think that it's not a cause, but it is kind of like parallel to the issue. It's that there's so much people spending on clothes and on anything, on tangible assets, that these issues are happening. But the issue with the clothes is that they are, as it mentions actually in the documentary of minimalism, that fashion, or also known as fast fashion, doesn't end. You don't buy clothes and then you stop using them because they don't work anymore. You stop using them because they're not socially relevant, because they're not trendy anymore. So that means that you have to constantly keep buying clothes, and that has to do a lot with the excessive spending. But also, there's another side issue, which is the environmental impact of this. Clothes actually have a huge water footprint, or water, yeah, I think it's called a footprint. Point is that it takes a lot and a lot of liters of water to make a shirt, and um, this the way that people are buying clothes, this fast fashion trend, is absolutely detrimental for the environment, because if they keep doing that, then a lot of resources are going to be spent, and it's absolutely horrible for the environment. But anyway, I feel like those are some ways in which they are related. So now going on to the questions, what do I take from these documentaries? Excuse me. Well, I felt very connected to the one which was minimalism, because I personally right now believe that I am growing professionally. I am starting my life, and a lot of things that I'm aspiring for right now have to do with success and money and growth within the industry or within the professional area. But after watching that documentary, I mean, it's already some thoughts. I've already had these thoughts before, but this documentary just kind of like reminded me of this again. And I'm not absolutely sure if what I want deep inside is to be big, successful, and to have a lot of money. I'm not sure if that's going to make me feel fulfilled, because there's a difference between being happy and being fulfilled. You could be happy because you have all the money in the world and because you have, you're super successful and you're maybe even famous, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you feel fulfilled. And deep inside, a lot of people get sad because of that. So it really made me think a lot about my future and the thing that I have to consider. And one of the things that I think I would change maybe is my aspirations. I'm not saying that from now on I'm not going to aspire to, make a lot of money or to be successful. It's not. It's more about, the journey itself. If I'm going to do things, I should do it because they make me feel happy. They make me feel fulfilled. Not just doing things because, of the end point, just because of money, just because of success. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to end the video there because I only have like 5 minutes. That's already a bit too long. I feel like the time is a bit too short for so many questions and such deep subjects. But yeah, thank you for listening.